All right, so I'm going to talk about my blog article that's titled, Should I Take a Probiotic and What is a Prebiotic anyways? So, in short, the answer is yes. But let's kind of break it down a little bit. So, in our body, we have what we call the microbiome. So, the microbiome is the balance of what I like to call the good and bad bugs in the body. So, we have bacteria, viruses, parasites, funguses, and a few other things. And there's kind of three categories of them. So, there's the good guys, those are the guys we want in the body, those are mostly bacteria. We have the bad guys. Those are the guys we don't want at all. Those are things like infections, if we think of like salmonella or giardia. And then we have this middle ground, which we sometimes call opportunistic or commensal. And, they're okay in small amounts. We normally find them in the body, but we don't want them to overgrow and populate. So those are things like Candida or H. pylori. When we're talking about treatments, we have probiotics. Those are essentially good guys or good bacteria. And sometimes when we're doing treatments, we're either giving the good guys, like I said, probiotics, or getting rid of the bad guys, which are things like antimicrobials or antibiotics. Through research, we know that part of our digestive tract should have certain balances of the good and bad guys. So, what we want in the mouth is a little bit different from what we want in the stomach, which is a little bit different from the small intestine and the large intestine. The thing is, no one really has a perfect microbiome, and this is because it's influenced by so many things, starting from what your mother did when she was pregnant with you, if you were born vaginally or C-section, if you're taking any medications, if you're exposed to chemicals or toxins, and how many times you've taken antibiotics. So essentially, when we're giving probiotics, like I said, those are bacteria and sometimes beneficial yeast. And what we're doing is we're giving them to help balance that microbiome. So they help our good guys multiply and our bad guys diminish. So we can get probiotics both through our food and through supplement form. So in our food, so I always say taking probiotics through our food is a great daily way to get this daily dose of the good guys, and they're generally foods that are fermented. So we have sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, tempeh, kefir, and yogurt. However, we often need a higher dose of probiotic if we want a therapeutic benefit. So, if you're actually having symptoms and we need to balance the microbiome, we often need to supplement because we're not going to get a high enough dose through those food sources. When we talk about probiotics in supplement form, and like I said, I found that most people do need a little bit of a higher dose. But like all supplements, not all probiotics are equal. So probiotics vary vastly from the number of strains of probiotics, so what the variety is in them, from single strain giving you one bacteria to multi-strain giving you up to 10 to 15. They vary in the dose, so they can vary from 1 or 2 billion up to 100 billion. And they can vary in the added ingredients. So sometimes they have just added ingredients like sugar, yeast, milk, which we don't necessarily want. Sometimes they have added ingredients like prebiotics, which we'll touch on in a second, which are there to feed the probiotics. And everyone obviously can respond differently to all of those. So what I do with my patients is I work together with you through either testing that we do or through symptoms that you tell me about or different things that we're trying to balance. And what we're doing is we're really trying to find what's the dose that you need, what is the balance, do we want single strain, do we want multi-strain, and we find the one that's really perfect for you. I often say also is you don't want to be on the same probiotic forever. So we do want to consider switching up our probiotic, even if it's a multi-strain, after a period of time to give our gut some variety. The other question I get often a lot is, should I be taking a prebiotic? And this is something I'm seeing in the media and a lot of supplements being advertised a lot more. So essentially, prebiotics are food for our probiotics. So they're going to help our good guys grow and flourish in the gut. Sometimes they're added to probiotic supplements. Sometimes they can be taken separately. But essentially, prebiotics are found in foods that are high in fiber. So we can get a great dose of prebiotics in our diet just by eating a variety of whole foods. These can be ingredients such as inulin, FOS, beta glucan, and pectin. So, as always, having that diet that has a wide variety is a great way to help support a healthy gut. If you're having trouble with bowel movements or your overall digestion feels off, you can take a deeper dive into all of this in my webinar that's part of the Optimal You community membership. So, the monthly subscription, we dive into common factors in what we can do so that we can have a smooth move or a great bowel movement every day. So if you have gas or bloating, diarrhea, constipation, acid reflux, this is a great webinar for you to dive into.